Hello, everyone. So, recording this video to discuss the other provisions covered in our midterm exam. So, let's begin. Um, we are going to discuss now these topics first. So, what must be delivered? This is still under the chapter related to the delivery of goods. So, what must be delivered by the seller, right? Because the seller has the obligation to deliver the thing that he sold to the buyer. So, three things to remember: the vendor is bound to deliver the thing sold, obviously. So the subject matter of the sale must be delivered. But other than that, the vendor is also bound to deliver the accessions and accessories of the thing sold in the condition in which they were upon the perfection of the contract. So kung unsa man gani ang status sa thing sold on the date of the perfection of the contract, if kana siya nga thing sold, naasad siya corresponding accessions and accessories, then those accessions and accessories should also be delivered to the buyer. So, ang specific point in time nga ato ang i-consider is upon the perfection of the contract. So, whatever is the condition or the status of the thing sold on the date of the perfection of the contract, that should be the same status or condition sa thing sold that should be delivered by the vendor to the buyer. And then plus all the fruits that is being produced by the thing sold shall pertain to the vendee from the day on which the contract was perfected. So this is um, different from the rule in our oblicon, no nga, ang fruits shall pertain to the obligee on the date, on the, ano, when the on the date of the specified delivery of the thing nga kinahanglan ihatag dito ni obligee. Kumurag nato'y phrase dito no sa obligation. I'm trying to remember it. Kanang when the obligation to deliver it arises. Mao na siya ang sa oblikon. So ang fruits shall pertain to the obligee starting from the date when the obligation to deliver it arises. So meaning to say, ang nasabutan nila nga delivery date. But that is different from the rule diri sa ato ang contract of sale, because the fruits shall pertain to the vendee not from the date specified as the delivery date, but rather from the date on which the contract was perfected. So the fruits shall pertain to the vendee from the day on which the contract was perfected. Okay. So the next thing that we have to look into is the quantity or area and quality to be delivered. So quantity, if pertaining siya to movable goods, so pila ka buok, no? Let's say if baligyan nimo libro, so pila ka buok libro. Pero if the thing sold is an immovable property, like for example land, so ang area atong tan-awon, okay? So quantity or area, and the quality of the thing sold that to be delivered by the vendor. So, in general, the obligation to deliver the thing sold includes that of placing in the control of the vendee all that is mentioned in the contracts in conformity with the rules that we are going to discuss later. So, whatever is indicated in the contract of sale nga appeal sa imuhang i-deliver if ikaw si vendor, then kinahanglan imo jud siyang ihatag kung unsa man gani ang naka-indicate dito sa inyong contract, basaha kung unsay nakabutang didto, nya mao to siya ang ato ang i-deliver ni vendee. Everything that is mentioned in the contract, you should deliver to the vendee. Okay. And then in the case of sale of real property, okay, the parties may choose between two types of pricing agreement. So kung ang subject matter is real property, duha kasagaran ang ways of determining the price. Okay, pwede siya unit price contracts wherein the purchase price is determined by way of reference to a stated rate per unit area. So for example, nagbaligya ka og yuta. Okay, instead of saying nga ang price ani akong yuta is 1 million, instead of saying that, you can also use the pricing agreement as this one, like unit price siya. Instead of saying 1 million ang whole property, you can say 1,000 per square meter. So, kasagaran no, nagsige man sa kog tan-aw og mga lots for sale there is among area. So, kasagaran akong mabantayan nga i-post sa Facebook Market or anywhere in Facebook. Ilang gamiton is kaning unit price. No, mayon sila nga tag 12,000 per square meter or tag 15,000 per square meter or tag 20,000 per square meter. Okay? So, per unit rate per unit. So, 12,000 per square meter, 15,000 per square meter, 20,000 per square meter. So, that's the first way of determining the price when it comes to the sale of real property. Pero naasad tayo another way of determining the price. The second method in determining the purchase price is lump sum siya nga contract. So, kung may kag lump sum, ito state niya ang full purchase price for that certain real property. So, the area of which may be declared based on the estimate or where both the area and the boundaries are stated. So, for example, lot for sale located in Corona del Mar, kanang total area is 200 square meters more or less. Selling price 6 million. So in ana nga pamaagi, we call it lump sum. As opposed ganiha nga atong dimension nga per unit siya, rate per unit. Pero pwede sad siya lump sum. So sa lump sum, state gyud ang full price of the real property to be sold and then isulti pud nimo pila ang estimated nga area sa imuhang property. So like in my example, 200 square meters and then pwede sa nimo i-state ang boundaries. So bounded in the north by lot number whatever, bounded in the east, bounded in the west, bounded in the south by lot number whatever. Okay? So tan-awon sa nato. Okay, so let's discuss first the first method in determining the purchase price. So if you can recall, the first method is rate per unit. Okay, so we refer to Article 1539 of the Civil Code, which governs the sale of an immovable by the unit. So like in my example a while ago, stated rate per unit. So if you have your civil code, a copy of your civil code with you, you can just pause this video and then read Article 1539. Okay? So in a unit price contract, again, this is the first method of determining the purchase price. It's based on a stated rate per unit. So in a unit price contract, the statement of area of the immovable is not conclusive, and therefore the price may be reduced or pwede sad increased depending on the area actually delivered. So, for example, ang nakabutang didto nga sabot ninyo is tag 20,000 siya per square meter. Unya, initially ang inyong pag-determine sa area is kuan siya, let's say 100 square meters siya. So 100 square meters unya ang selling price is 20,000 per square meter. Okay? So in that case daw kuno, since ang inyong contract is a unit price contract, the total area of the immovable property, in this case the land, is not conclusive daw. So katong inyong giingon nga 100 square meters, it is not conclusive. Therefore, if the actual area size of the lots is greater than 100 or less than 100 square meters, then pwede ra kuno gihapon, and then ang effect lang is either i reduce ang total price or i-increase ang total price. So again, let's say balik ta sa inyong sabot, no? Ang inyong sabot is 20,000 per square meter, and then ang inyong estimate is 100 square meters. But what if, no? What if the vendor delivers less than the area agreed upon? So instead of 100, imong gipa-survey ang total area, 98 grid ay siya ka square meters. So ang gi-deliver ni vendor is less than the area agreed upon. So instead of 100 square meters, pagpa-survey nimo sa yuta, 98 ra di siya. Okay? So unsa man ang effects ana. Okay? So the effect of the vendee may oblige the vendor to deliver all that may be stated in the contract if that is possible. So, pwede nimo ingnan si vendor nga, uy, 100 ba yatong sabot? So, ihatag ang tibuok 100. But kana, if possible. Kay if not possible, like for example, 98 ra jud tinud anay ang measurement sa yuta. Okay? Wala jud nahabilin pa nga 2 square meters to fulfill the entire 100. So if that is not possible na ma-deliver ang entire 100, so the vendee may either demand for the proportionate reduction of the purchase price or ask for the rescission of the contract. But, okay, kani siya nga, so duha ka buok ang options ni vendee, no? So, proportionate reduction or rescission. But, take note, ang rescission of the contract is, I mean, these these two options is available only if the lack in the area is not less than 1/10 of the stated area. Okay, so if so again, the vendee has these two options, no? Reduction in the purchase price. So for example, ganiha 98 man to, no? So 98 na lang instead of 100 square meters. So, 98 times 20,000. So, obviously, mo gamay gyud ang imong bayron nun nga total. Or you can also ask for the rescission of the contract. But that is, again, if the lack in the area is not less than 1/10 of the stated area. So, kompyuto na to no ganiha. Duha man ang kuwang, 2 square meters ang kuwang out of the 100. So, pila di ay ang kuwang ni vendor. So, 2 square meters out of the 100 is 2% lang siya. 2%. Kung may kag 1/10, that is 10%. So, dinhi ang nahitabo is 2% ra ang kuan, ni 2% lang ang kuwang ni vendor. So, we can say that the lack in the area is less than 1/10, right? It is not, yung dire, the remedy daw for the rescission of the contract is only available if the lack in area is not less than 1/10 of the stated area. So is it, in this case, is it less than 1/10? So the answer is yes. In this case, it is less than 1/10 because 1/10 is 10%. And the lacking area is only 2% here. So therefore, the remedy of rescission is not available, right? It is not available. So ang only remedy ni vendee or ni buyer is simply ask for the reduction in the purchase price. However though, if the vendee would not have bought the immovable, had he known of its smaller area, he may rescind the sale. So again, going back to the remedy of rescission, diba? As a general rule, the remedy of rescission is only available to the buyer or the vendee if ang lack in the area is not less than 1/10. So, otherwise stated, pwede ta para di ta maglibog ba, daghan man gud kay negatives na. So, pwede ra daw i-rescind kung at least 1/10 ang kuwang. Okay? So, if dili ka abot og 1/10 ang kuwang, dili pwede i-rescind ni buyer, but rather, he can ask for the reduction of the price. However, bahalag wala kaabot og 1/10 ang lacking. If in the first place, the vendee would not have bought the land, kung nakahibaw man gani siya nga gamay gyud ay ang area, he may rescind the sale. Okay? So tan-awon ang intention diri ni vendee kung unsa gyud iyang initial intention, how to unsa iyang plano sa yuta. So if ever important jud kaayo ni vendee nga matuman gyud nga 100 kay plano niya is magtukod siya og 100 square meter pod nga floor area sa iyahang house. So kay 98 raman di niya matuman ang iyang 100 square meter nga house. So in that case, bahala og wala nakaabot og 1/10 ang lacking in the area, then the vendee may still rescind the sale. Okay? However, next one. What if parehas gyud nga area, so eksakto gyud nga 100 square meters kay ang inyong sabot is 100 square meters. And then ang na-deliver sa imuha is 100 gyud nga square meters. But any part is not of the quality specified in the contract. So for example, ang nasabutan dito sa inyong contract, ang kani siyang entire 100 square meters kay patag ra gyud na siya nga yuta. But what if ang na-deliver sa imuha is naay portion nga dili patag kanang sakaon gamay, murag bukid-bukid gamay nga part, but other part is patag, ang uban kay kanang naay sakaon gamay. So in that case, it's not of the same quality, right, as specified in the contract. So what is the effect then? So the same rule as above, like what I have mentioned a while ago, shall apply, and rescission shall take place only when the inferior value of the thing sold exceeds 1/10 of the purchase of the price agreed upon. So, tanaw ra gyapon nimo ang porsyento sa yuta nga inferior value, meaning to say dili mao sa inyohang nasabutan, dili parehas og quality sa inyohang nasabutan. So, ato ra gyapon tan-awon ang katong 1/10 nga threshold. Okay, so if wala siya ni exceed sa katong 1/10, then you have two remedy. If wala siya ni exceed sa 1/10, you cannot rescind the contract, but rather you can ask for the reduction of the price. But again, there is still an exception even if wala to ni reach sa 1/10 na threshold. If the vendee would not have bought the immovable, had he known of its inferior quality, he may still rescind the sale. All right? So there is an exception to that threshold. Go back again to the initial intention and plan of the vendee in purchasing the property. Okay. Now, so far, to ang discuss is kuwang, no kuwang. What if the vendor delivers more than the area that is stated in the contract? Going back to our initial example, nakatong 100 square meters ang inyong sabot. So, instead of 100, pagpa-survey nimo, nahimo siyang 110 square meters di ay gyud siya instead of 100. So, in this case, the vendor has delivered more than the area stated in the contract. So what is the effect now? The vendee has the option to accept only the amount agreed upon or accept the whole area. But if he accepts the whole area, he must pay for the additional area at the contract rate. So again, ang yung sabot, di ba, initially is tag 20,000 per square meter niya, 100 square meters ang area. But then ang na-deliver is more than 100, let's say 110 square meters ang total tanan instead of 100. So ang imuhang option if ikaw si buyer, you can accept ang katudjong 100 nga inyong nasabutan. Okay, so what ay problema ana if ang imuhang gi-accept is ang 100. But if you agreed to accept the whole area katudjong 110 square meters, then you need to pay for the additional area. So ang katong sobra nga 10 square meters, kinahanglan sad nimo bayaran at your stated contract rate, which is 20,000 per square meter, right? So, naman tayo sobra nga 10 square meter and then each square meter sa inyong sabot is 20,000 per square meter. So, kinahanglan nimo bayaran ang 20,000 times 10 square meters. Okay, bayaran po na nimo og appeal. Okay? So, kana siya nga nga rules so far nga ato ang gihisgutan is if in case ang inyuhang sabot nga contract is per unit. Okay? If ang inyuhang rate is per unit. Okay. Now, let's move on to the second method. So, ang second method na to is lump sum. Okay, lump sum or for a single price and not at a stated rate per unit. So, 'di ba? Again, pwede man sad ta magsabot nga dili na lang ta mag-multiply no diretso mo ingkag ang selling price ani is 6 million. So the parties may agree on a stated purchase price for an immovable, the area of which may be declared based on an estimate or where both the area and boundaries are stated. So again, let's go back to our example a while ago na. Ang inyuhang estimate sa area is 100 square meters. Now, 100 square meters more or less. And then since prime man siya nga location, let's say ang inyong sabot is 6 million for the entire 100 square meters estimated area. So in that case, you opted for a lump sum or a single price and not at a standard rate per unit. Okay? So, if na mga problema rin, if na mga discrepancies, unsa man ang rule. Okay? In case the area of the immovable is stated in the contract based on an estimate, let's say imong estimate ito 100 square meters more or less, the actual area delivered may not measure up exactly with the area stated in the contract. So dili necessarily nga mo match gyud ang actual area sa inyuhang estimate nga square meters, okay? In the sale made for a lump sum and not at a rate of a certain sum for a unit of measure or number, however, there shall be no increase or decrease of the price, although there be a greater or lesser area or number than that stated in the contract. So, ang inyong sabot, di ba, 6 million for a 100 square meters more or less. What if pagpa-survey nimo 98 ra day siya, 98 square meters ra day siya. Can you ask for the reduction of the price? Oy, dili 6 million akong bayaran kay 98 ra man di ay ni. So dili siya mo apply. Kato nga rule ganiha nga atong gi-discuss, dili siya mo apply. There shall be no decrease in the price. Although there be a lesser area than that stated in the contracts. So wala reduction in the price. What if the other way around? Instead of 100, pagpa-survey nimo 110 square meters gid siya. Okay, so again, ang inyong sabot is 6 million price for the entire 100 square meters more or less. If there is an increase, let's say pag actual survey is 110 gid siya, 110 square meters, the seller cannot also demand for an increase in the price. Dili pwede maingon si seller nga, oy, dili day dapat 6 million ra ang imong bayaran kay mas dako man day ni siya kaysa sa atong nasabutan. 100 ra man to atong na-estimate niya karon 110. So the seller cannot also demand for an increase in the price if there is a greater area than that stated in the contract. Okay, so that's the rule now. That's the general rule. However, the discrepancy must not be very substantial. Okay, so kana lang ginagmay lang nga discrepancy. Okay, so it must not be substantial for that general rule to apply. A vendee of land when sold in gross or with the description nga quote-unquote more or less kabantay mo anang sa deed of sale no butangan jud og 100 square meters more or less na gid ni siyang words nga more or less, okay? So when it is sold with a description nga more or less with reference to its area, it does not thereby ipso facto take all risk of quantity in the land. So the use of the words more or less, quote unquote more or less, or similar words in designating quantity covers only a reasonable excess or deficiency. So dapat dili jud substantial. Dapat reasonable lang siya nga either excess or reasonable nga deficiency. In the case of Del Prado versus Spouses Caballero, okay, GR number 148225, decided March 3, 2010, the Supreme Court held that the discrepancy of 10,475 square meters cannot be considered as merely a slight difference in quantity. Lain sad kayo no, may kag ang discrepancy ko no sa delivered area is 10,475 square meters. Kadako ana nga discrepancy, no? So it cannot be considered as a mere slight difference in quantity, but obviously it's too sizable or too substantial to be overlooked when the subject of sale was only 4,000 square meters more or less. So ang ilang contract naka-indicate ko no nga size or area of the property is 4,000 square meters more or less. But then ang actual na deliver, okay, naa siya discrepancy nga 10,475. Dako ano, mas dako pa ang discrepancy kaysa sa original square meters nga involved. So, in this case, the Supreme Court said that it is not merely a reasonable excess or deficiency. It is in fact substantial. Okay, so in that case, dili to pwede ma-invoke nga there shall be no increase or decrease in the price. Okay? So, in that case, if substantial kaayo ang discrepancy, then there should be a reduction or increase in the price as the case may be. Now, what if? What if in the contract of sale, both the area and the boundaries of the land or the immovable are declared? So if in that case, when both the area and the boundaries are declared, the area covered within the boundaries of the immovable prevails over the stated area. So, kung naa ko na both stated area, let's say 100 square meters, unya at the same time na ay gi-include nga boundaries, no, bounded by the north, bounded in the east by this lot number, bounded in the south by this specific lot number, bounded in the west by this specific lot number. So, the boundaries will prevail over the stated area. Kay what if pag-determine, pag-check ana dito no, let's say pag actual nga survey dito using those stated boundaries, lahi di ay size sa area. Okay? So, the boundaries shall prevail. The area that is covered sa katong gi-declare nga boundaries will prevail over the stated nga square meters area. So, in cases of conflict between areas and boundaries, it is the latter which should prevail. It should be the boundaries na ang mo prevail. Okay? Hence, the vendor shall be bound to deliver all that is included within the said boundaries, even when it exceeds the area specified in the contract. So, careful jud kay tano inig mag-indicate ta og boundaries ato ang contract of sale kay kato kunong tanan nga area covered in those boundaries bound si vendor to deliver even if it exceeds the area nga inyuhang gi-specify in the contract. And should he not be able to do so, he shall suffer a reduction in the price. So kung dili siya mutuman o ihatag niya tanan ang katong covered jud sa katong boundaries kay siya uy sobra man ni dili lang kato lang ila itong nasabutan. Let's say pag-determine sa boundaries no nasa nakit-an nga 200 di ay square meters. Then moingon si vendor nga oy 100 ra oy kay 100 ra man atong sabot 100 ra akong ihatag nimo. So if he is not able to deliver the entire land covered by the boundary, he shall suffer a reduction in the price. So, minusan ang inyuhang sabot nga presyo. So, in what proportion man, pila man na atong i-minus? In proportion to what is lacking in the area, okay? Unless the contract is rescinded because the vendee does not accede to the failure to deliver what has been stipulated. So, if dili sad musugot si vendee or si buyer nga, dili ihatag tanan ni vendor ang entire area covered by the boundaries, then the vendee has the right to rescind the sale. Hindi na lang niya ipadayon ang sale. Okay? So, because what really defines a piece of ground is not the area calculated with a more or less certainty mentioned in its description, but rather what defines the lot is the boundary, no? Boundaries that are indicated in the contract, as enclosing the land and indicating its limits. So in a contract of sale of land in a mass, kay lump sum, no? Gilump sum siya. It is well established that the specific boundaries stated in the contract must control or prevail over any statement with respect to the area contained within its boundaries. It is not of vital consequence that a deed or a contract of sale of land should disclose the area with mathematical accuracy. It is sufficient, no, enough na if its extent is objectively indicated with sufficient precision to enable one to identify kung asa gyud na siya nga property o pila gyud ang iyahang measurements. Okay? An error as to the superficial area is immaterial. Thus, the obligation of the vendor is to deliver everything within the stated boundaries, inasmuch as it is the entirety thereof that distinguishes the determinate objects. Okay. Okay. So let's now discuss the applicability and the prescriptive period of the rights to rescind the contract. If the sale was made for a price per unit of measure or number, the consideration of the contract with respect to the vendee is the number of units or the thing purchased as determined by the stipulated number of units. So that is for the first method of determining the price. No? So what prevails is the number of unit or the area. Okay. But if on the other hand, if the sale was made for a lump sum, the consideration of the contract is the object sold independently of its number or measure. So, ang entire gyud nga property ang i-consider, no? Dili ang mo-prevail is ang iyahang stated number of area or units. So, the thing as determined by the stipulated boundaries, which has been called in law a determinate object. Okay, so let's now use these sections, no, or provisions that we have mentioned so far. And we can also apply this when it comes to judicial sales. So, kani siya nga rules, applicable ni siya sa judicial sales. Unsay pasabot sa judicial sales, like for example, public auctions performed by the sheriff, no, in relation to a levy, let's say levy on execution, or at let's say foreclosure sales, no, that is made through the courts. Okay, so applicable sad ni siya nga mga rules if there is any discrepancy between what is stated in the contract and what is actually delivered. So, kana siya. So again, mo matter ang rule if unsa siya nga pricing agreement nga inyong gigamit, if per unit ba siya or lump sum. So the actions arising from Article 1539, which refers to the sale for a price per unit of measure, and Article 1542, which refers to the sale for a lump sum price, shall prescribe in 6 months. Okay, so prescriptive period is 6 months, and the running of the period of 6 months shall start from the date of the delivery. Okay? So, kinahanglan within 6 months from the date of the delivery, ma-determine na gid nimo if ikaw si buyer. Ma-determine nimo ang actual area that was delivered para maka-decide ka kung unsa nga remedy ang imong i-avail. Okay? So, you only have 6 months. Okay, that is for the sale of real property. Let's now move on to the sale of goods. Okay, goods or movable property. If the seller delivers a quantity that is less than he contracted to sell, the following rules shall apply. So, for example, no, inyuhang sabot is mopalit ka o certain, let's say, palit ka og, man ako mathing. Let's say, palit ka og certain ball pen. Okay, okay. In ani nga brand o in ani nga point. Let's say 0.5 sa in ani nga brand of a pen. Let's say 10 ka buok imong hangganhan paliton pero ang iyang deliver is 8 ra ka buok or 5 ra ka buok. Okay, so if he delivers a quantity less than he contracted to sell, the buyer may reject them. So if ikaw si buyer, you may reject those number of units nga kuwang. No, 5 ra iyang gi-deliver out of the 10 or 8 ra iyang gi-deliver out of the 10. So you have the right to reject the delivery. Do not accept the delivery. However, if the buyer accepts or retains the goods, despite knowing that the seller is not going to perform the contract in full, the buyer must pay for them at the contract rate. Okay? So there is now reduction of the price. If imo gi-accept, bahalag kahibaw kang kuwang ang iyang deliver, imo na lagi accept ang katong iyahang gi-deliver nga number of units, then you must pay for them at the contract price. If the buyer has used or disposed of the goods delivered before he knows that the seller is not going to perform his contract in full, the buyer shall not be liable for more than the fair value to him of the goods so received. So, unsay difference ani? Ganiha, gi-accept nimo knowingly nga kay gid ka nga maora gid na ang i-deliver ni seller 8 ra ka buok out of the 10. But in this second scenario that I have mentioned, nagamit nimo, gi-consume nimo if the thing is consumable, nagamit nimo or na-dispose nimo before nimo nabalaan nga dili day niya i-deliver ang the rest of the balance, no? Katong kuwang niya, dili na day niya ihatag or dili na niya ma-deliver. So in that case, there is still reduction of the price, no? But dili na siya at a contract rate. Ganiha, at a contract rate siya. This time, the buyer is only liable for the fair value of the goods received. Dili siya contract rate. So, tanawo na nimo ang fair value. Maura na siya ang bayron nun ni kanang buyer. Then, ganiha, if kaybaw siya knowingly receives or accepts the goods, bahalag kaybaw siya nga kuwang ang gi-deliver ni seller, ang bayron nun ni buyer is at the contract rate. Okay? This time, if wala siya kahibaw, niya nagamit na niya ang goods that was delivered to the buyer, then ang iyahang bayron lang ni seller is fair value lang of the goods. Okay? What if the seller delivers a quantity larger than he contracted to sell? So, unsa man ang options ni buyer? So, the first option is that the buyer may accept the goods included in the contract and reject the rest. So, instead of 10 kabuok, gideliveran ka ni seller og 15. So, ang imuha is, pwede nimo i-accept ang 10, unya i-reject nimo ang sobra nga 5. But if you accept the whole of the goods so delivered, he must pay for them at the contract price. So, if gi-accept mo tanan 15, bahalag 10 ra inyong sabot, then obviously, bayaran sad nimo ang sobrang nga 5. So, ang rate ana is at the contract price. But if the subject matter is indivisible, the buyer may reject the whole of the goods. Okay? So, if the subject matter is not capable of being split or divided, no? Dili naka pwede mo exercise atong option nga i-accept nimo what is included in the contract and reject the rest. So you cannot exercise that option anymore because it is indivisible such that if imo siya i-divide no nga katong kung unsa ra ang imuhang gi-agree sa inyong contract, mao imong dawaton anya ang sobra imong i-reject. That is not possible because if the thing is indivisible, dili pwede nga i-separate sila. So you may reject the whole of the goods. If you are the buyer, you have the option to reject the whole of the goods. Now, another scenario, if the seller delivers the goods he contracted to sell mixed with goods of different description that is not included in the contract. So, na mix, no? Naa siya na deliver nga sakto, nasa siya na deliver nga di sakto. So, unsa man ang rule ani, unsa man option ni buyer. So you as a buyer, you may accept the goods which are in accordance with the contracts and reject the rest that are not in accordance with the contract. Kung na mix nga dili mao. Okay? Let's say ang imuhang gi-order unta nga pen is, let's say, my gel, okay? And then nay nahatag, in fact nay nahatag nga my gel pero naasay nasagol nga pilot. So imo tong pwede nimo i-reject ang pilot, na-accept ra nimo ang my gel. But if the subject matter of the contract is indivisible, then the buyer may reject the whole of the goods. Okay? So next part of the discussion will be obligations of the vendee. So let's cover this in a separate recorded discussion. Okay, I'll just stop the recording first and then we'll proceed in the next video for the obligations of the vendee. Okay.